Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to JT's Mixtape. This is episode number 71. And if you guys are enjoying these podcasts, please give me a 5-star review on either Apple or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.
Come closer, my child.
What's going on, y'all? This podcast is brought to you by Modern Roots Life. Modern Roots Life is a Christian-owned and operated company, and it's bringing real health back to its roots. They offer powerful, all-natural health supplements such as beef liver, cod liver oil, beef tallow, magnesium, and mineral-rich salts, all sourced the way God intended. Clean, simple, and from the earth. So whether you're looking to boost your energy, restore mineral balance, or just fuel your family with real nourishment, Modern Roots Life has got you covered. Guys, in this community, we're trying to get healthy in our mind, in our body, and our spirit. So don't neglect your health. If you want more information, check out modernrootslife.com and check the link in my description. You know, people often ask me how they can support me. Well, I think it's pretty cool if you can support me by supporting the people who support me, and you get something in return. And being healthy is a pretty good return. Well, family, once again, we're back. I'm your host, JT. And as always, I got with me Aaron, Tune Thy Heart. What's going on, Aaron?
What's up, y'all? Happy to be here.
And we have the one and only Demon Racers. What's going on, bro?
To the disappointment of that one woman in the comments, I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm here to the who just she
Brian,
just watches
remember?
the show. Yeah.
Jesus said there'd be haters. You can't always focus on the haters.
No, never.
I always like to quote when Jesus says about John the Baptist, they said he ate no meat, drank no wine. He said he had a demon.
Yep. Still.
And here's the Son of Man eating and drinking, and they say he's a drunk and a glutton. You're not going to please everyone. That's the point of that.
Of course.
You're not going to please everyone, and that's okay. If you pleased everyone, you'd be like the false prophets.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
it's true. You got to. Well, if you get people that love you, you're bound to have people that hate you. So.
Woe to you when all men speak well of you and women.
Exactly.
And I'm sure I pissed off some people by saying about Paula White, the first problem is that she's a woman. I'm sorry, but I mean, that's literally what the Bible says. And actually, I'm not really sorry about saying that because that's literally what the Bible says.
Well,
but speaking of women, let's go to one of our favorite women, Erica Kirk. In her new position.
Yes,
this is really interesting. This is really exciting for her.
Erica Kirk has just been appointed to the Air Force Academy Board by President Donald Trump. I thought it was a joke at first until it was confirmed by multiple news outlets this morning. Now, what is this role? The Air Force Academy Board of Visitors is a group established to review and make recommendations regarding the morale, curriculum, and other important aspects of the United States Air Force Academy. It consists of members appointed by the president and congressional leaders, and it plays a key role in overseeing the Academy's operations and ensuring it meets its educational and military goals. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How in the world is this woman even possibly qualified for the job other than by virtue, of course, of being Charlie Kirk's wife, now widow? Now, according to her LinkedIn, she claims to have a Doctor of Education and a Juris Master's degree from Liberty University, graduating summa cum laude. But the internet does what it does, and once again, as it often is with Erica, there seems to be something not right about this. Take a listen to Baron Coleman here.
The way you would try to find if somebody had the degree they claim to have. First thing you do is go and see, is there a portal where we can look and see people who graduated in given years? Well, she said she graduated in the year 2022. Her name was either Franz Bay or Kirk, so we can look them up both ways here. This is all the people, no Franz Bays in 2022 in Liberty University. So we'll try Kirk. There are some Kirks, but there are no Erica Kirks. So then you start to think, well, maybe a different year? Well, trust me, we went all through all the years.
Interesting. And also, this website just popped up out of nowhere.
Was that website Vance
That's
Kirk.
crazy. Actually, I'm surprised. I wanted to talk about that. I can't believe he only just teased that at the end.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. That guy, Baron Coleman. So if you don't really like Candace's research, this guy's pretty great at it. He's a little bit more like Candace. I made that meme of her looking like Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the crazy whiteboard and the wild eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's Candace's Erica Kirk, Bride of Charlie, little thing. Baron Coleman is way more. I don't know. He's way more digestible for like the thing. Candace is revealing some very interesting things, but I don't know. I just maybe like the way he puts it better. But he just revealed the other day that this website was created on September 12th, 2025, and it's called Vance Kirk 2028.
It says what?
Vance Kirk 2028. So,
Interesting.
like Vance for president, and the natural assumption is it's a Kirk for vice president, which would be Erica Kirk.
That's
And this website was created 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Unless Charlie Kirk comes
2
walking out on the
days?
stage with the music, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, he's like. So she got appointed to the what was it? The Air Force. What was it? Airhead Force. That's what it was, right? Oh, the Air Force.
Yeah,
Head.
well, check this out. So yeah, so this is it right here. So I just went on it. Vance Kirk 2028. Launching soon. So somebody bought the domain and created it 2 days after.
Whoever that person is, they are very smart. Or it was a plan. See, I would have bought the domain thinking, oh, it's good. Like, I wonder if they just bought the domain, like, because it's obviously just a purchase domain and it's just is launching soon. So it's funny. Like, I wonder if somebody that was like, oh, I already see what's going down, bought the domain and is going to like sell it to Vance and Kirk, trying to like sell it to him and be like, yeah, I'll give you the domain. Like,
well, you know what?
give me like
Vance could say is like, well,
$10,000.
but why would I ever use Erica Kirk as my VP? Like, I mean, like what, like on what, in what reality is she some kind of a presidential candidate?
Bro, her
Nobody even knew who she was that day.
JT, what
on
are you
the 12th.
talking about? Her husband got murdered. She is a prime candidate for presidency. Doesn't that qualify every woman who's had a murdered husband? They should be president.
I mean,
That's
I guess,
it.
I guess some person might have that opinion, but I don't think any normal
She's
people
following
do.
the same path as Zelensky did.
It's
As far as being in music videos, and
both wearing high heels.
wanting to be divas and not exactly being
babes.
able to make the cut and then getting elected to office. So she seems to be fitting the model.
I mean,
But I mean, obviously the crazy thing is that this woman is supposedly a widow. She's got a 1 and a 3-year-old. So she's taken on this role of CEO and seems like she's pretty busy. Like, why would anybody think that she has the time to do this other thing? And does she supposedly have military background? Now, I know a lot of the research has revealed that she does have a lot of connections with the military, but what would make her any kind of a knowledgeable person to be representing the Air Force in some committee and also being affiliated with the DoD, Department of Defense?
the Airhead Force. That's what she's representing.
Gosh, it's ridiculous. The amount of lies that they've caught Erica Kirk in are incredible. I mean, that's the thing. So, like, the whole idea of like, it sucks that it's Liberty University. I'm sorry, guys. I went there. I had no idea any of this stuff. I know most people probably won't believe me. I had no idea there's so many shady things going on at Liberty. But you know what's interesting about that? I want to say that Candace actually did dig into Liberty a little bit. And it kind of tracks with what I do know is that when I went there from 96 to 2000. The school didn't have any money. The amount of mold and just garbage, like the garbage facilities that we were supposed to be, the living quarters, unbelievably bad. It was terrible. So then what I was told was that Jerry Falwell, who was the founder of Liberty, when he died, he left some big endowment, because we were told later, like, oh, yeah, they got all this new stuff there. And I was like, that's pretty wild. So I went and visited. I went with my friends who I graduated with. We went up there and saw a football game, and it's completely unrecognizable compared to where I went. Now, the story goes is that, or at least we're told, that Falwell left this endowment, and then they started this online school. And then it became one of the bigger online schools in the whole world. So then they've got tons of money. But what Candace was actually pointing out is that these big, powerful Zionist groups all of a sudden started funding Liberty. And then you have all these connections with all the people connected with TPUSA. So, I mean, I think I think that actually probably tracks. But it's just so funny that she's on all her, like, she graduated from Arizona State. She's got a master's and a doctorate from Liberty. And every one of them, she's got like the highest honors in academics in all of them. Meanwhile, she's doing a million other things at the same time. It's probably all fake. It's probably all fake based on everything else she said.
It's probably all a show of some kind. Seems to be the pattern.
It always is. Okay, you got some?
I have this tattoo on my ribcage that says 1 + 1 = 11.
Yes. Oh, my parents say that all the time.
Yeah, do they?
My parents say 1 + 1 is not
2
here, and it's 11.
It's 11.
If you're ever mad at a woman, just remember, she's probably retarded. It's not her fault.
Who played that terrible video, guys? You can't play that kind of videos.
Brian,
that was not me.
Direct all your angry comments to Demon Racers. That was definitely not me. and I only laughed that it was absurd that Brian would play such an offensive video.
I would not play the video. That's terribly offensive.
Shame, Brian. Shame.
The second video, not so much, but that first video is freaking hilarious, dude. What the heck? What
1
the
+
heck?
1 actually doesn't equal 2.
That just makes me think
11. I don't even understand the sentiment. I don't understand like any of the takeaways from that, other than it being really bad math.
Well, it's probably relates to Crowley and his affinity for the number 11 and its magic qualities. I mean, that you get into the numerology about like 11 and 111.
Oh yeah, 9/11.
Angel numbers, all that stuff. That I'm sure that's where it comes from. It's it's not just necessarily mental retardation. It's more like spiritual retardation. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just think Erica Kirk would have that tattoo.
Regardless, though, yeah.
I just think Erica Kirk would have the 1 + 1 = 11 tattoo. I just feel like she would be in that category.
On her ribcage.
Okay, but anyways, what I was going to say is that speaking of everything being a show, and this might have to be cut for YouTube just because of copyright things, but this clip, this is about, of course, Trevor Moore, and this is probably another reason Trevor Moore is no longer with us, because this video, it's so on the nose of what we're dealing with right now. I can't even believe this is, like I said, it's almost like they could see the future here.
This is the view out of the front door of the United States Secret Moon Base. This was taken yesterday before we discovered the bear problem. And this one was taken just a couple hours ago. So, as you can see, bears everywhere.
Mr. President, Mr. President. Yeah, those bears appear to have guns and motorcycles.
We believe they may be involved in some sort of intergalactic drug cartel, perhaps affiliated with one of the interstellar wizard alliances.
We wouldn't happen to be invading Iran today, would we?
You got me. You got me.
Bro, he's prophetic. Like, Trevor Moore was prophetic or something, man, because like that is like so spot on accurate. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
that actually pretty much happened.
Yeah, they're like freaking
Obama's
like
Trump
the aliens
coordinating with the aliens are real right now. Trump's talking about releasing stuff that's classified and everything about aliens. And it wasn't
the cartel war that was happening in Mexico, the big cartel bombing, and then it was just like, oh my gosh, it's so spot on. The dude had to be prophetically having dreams or something.
I mean, it's just, I guess it's a situation where it's not necessarily prophetic. It's just an awareness of how stupid all this stuff is. I mean, because I think a lot of us called it when Trump and Obama started talking about aliens. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily prophetic, but it is like a very keen awareness of how stupid everything is. And once you can kind of see the code in what they do, of the very unnecessary distractions or the necessary distractions. As soon as we saw Obama talking about aliens on some random podcast,
Yeah.
people like Sean Ryan immediately called it out. Like, this has got to be a distraction from what he said was the Epstein files, which it could have been. It could have done two things at once. And then Trump comes out and validates him by saying, oh, yeah, well, Obama revealed some classified information. He's in big trouble now. But maybe I'm going to release some of the information about the UFOs. And so, what was it, 2 days later, probably right around the same time, it was within the week that bombs started falling on Tehran.
It is so crazy how oh man, it's so interesting how things play out exactly. How it's like, it makes you wonder, like, if you're just paying attention enough, you'll see that that's the agenda. There's a guy, who's that guy, that the Asian dude that keeps making videos explaining
Oh,
things?
is it Dr. Yang or
something like
Yang or something?
Yeah, I forget his name, but he's doing videos. Well, he's like come out and said, like, he goes, I'm not predicting anything. You guys think I'm predicting stuff. He's like, I'm just looking at the evidence. He's like, the evidence is pointing to this. They're like, he's right. And it's like, he's like, no,
You're talking about the guy that predicted Trump getting elected, and then he predicted us going into war, and then he predicted Iran winning.
Yeah. So I think that's what he said. Yeah, he said it's not going to end well for the United States. He said it.
You know what that
end.
reminds me of, Aaron? You would probably get this reference. Foundation.
Yeah.
So you have like this autistic math guy who's predicting the future based on the statistical probabilities. It's like that he's run everything through this massive math equation. And like literally he's talking about the collapse of this empire because of this is math. This is going to happen. That's pretty much what that guy does with his whiteboard, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's like algorithmic, basically. That's crazy, dude. That's actually that's a crazy parallel.
Again, I don't subscribe to this, but a lot of people do when they say we're living in a simulation. It's like that. I mean, it does seem like that sometimes.
No, it definitely does. It definitely does. I've had things happen in my life that are, I don't really know how to explain it, but they led me down that path of like, okay, how do I fit this experience in with what I know to be true of what the word says about our world and our life and the way things are? Because I've had things happen in my life personally that just felt like pure, absolute digital simulation. And I still don't know how to resolve some of that stuff, to be completely honest with you.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of similar to like the Mandela effect for me, where I'm like, I don't deny it, but I don't necessarily want to grab hold of it fully because I'm like, I don't really know where it all fits in. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I know that there's a weird phenomenon happening, but I don't really fully want to accept it. And maybe that's my own problem. It's something with me that I don't know how it fits my paradigm of what my belief is, what God will actually do and what God will actually allow. Because it seems like something, because if somebody actually said, hey, do you think that based on your knowledge of the Bible and who you believe God is, do you believe that you would let somebody go back in time and change things? And I probably would have said no, but I also see evidence that it could be a real phenomenon. So like, how do you really square that? Because I don't know how it fits into the Bible.
I don't even know. I don't believe that time is real, so I don't really think that time can be changed in a sense. I think it's all happening at the same moment. It's just really in slow motion. That's my view of it. So like, I don't know if like if it's even like time is an illusion. I think of time as an illusion.
Well, time is.
No, I agree with that.
Well, there's God is outside of time. Does that mean his heavenly hosts, are they outside of time too? Now, I don't know that, but I mean, obviously we know that time is real because God created time. God established time based on creation, the days he created things. He put the celestial objects in the firmament to denote the time that has passed. Now, it gets interesting. I know that I had Jay Dreams on, and we were talking about the idea that could time be speeding up? I mean, the truth be told, it's like that if the sun did its rotations and the stars did the rotations quicker, like how much could we really tell? You know what I'm saying? Like that if time was slower before, but it's faster now. I mean, I think people would think like based on their own technology and their own digital watches and stuff. But if everything was speeding up, like we wouldn't maybe necessarily know that. You know what I'm saying? If the celestial objects sped up, well, whoever could cause that could cause your watch to go faster too.
There's people that have like old, I've seen videos of this. They've got like old digital and then also like the hand clocks, and they're 20, 30 years old and they've been running this whole time. Like they never stopped, and they're not connected to the internet, and they've been running on battery, and they show a different time than our clocks, our phones, and all of our digital things. And this is like widespread. There's been a lot of these. It hasn't just been one person.
Oh, that's interesting.
And yeah, and some of them are off by days, some of them are off by weeks. But the whole concept of time is fascinating to me because time goes along with space, right? So like you start talking about stuff like that, you start talking about like portal jumping and going back in time and Back to the Future type stuff. And I had a really deep thought one night, because we know that God is outside of time. We know that, like the transfiguration and stuff like that, we see some weird, maybe time blips even in scripture, where it's like there's different things that took place in the Bible where it's like, wait, so did they maybe see Jesus atop that mountain in the Old Testament? Like, it's highly possible.
Right. What was it?
Sounds like it.
I want to say that what you're talking about, I believe, is that some people have floated the idea that, okay, so Moses goes up on Mount Sinai and he sees God. And then at some point, Elijah is at the top of the mountain seeing God. And then, so people have connected the idea, what if time is there in that moment, they were there with him. And, so what the apostles saw was almost like this outside of time moment.
Because they saw God and lived also.
Well,
right?
That's interesting.
They didn't see
I saw
God,
somebody else.
They saw Jesus and they saw Elijah and Moses.
Well,
and they heard God's voice, right?
Well, the truth is that that God the Father, I believe, is for a human person could not witness God the Father. Now, obviously, there's God the Son, and he shows up, I believe, in the Old Testament. There's very good evidence to say that when the angel of the Lord shows up, it's a pre-incarnated Christ. So like he's able to be looked at, but Jesus says himself that no one has seen the Father except me. Like no one could look upon him. So like, but he could. So I think that that's possibly, So I believe that when Moses is interacting with God on Mount Sinai, it's a pre-incarnated Christ. It's the Lord.
That lends itself to some interesting time theories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some interesting time slip / portal type stuff, where it's like our perception of time. I agree with Brian in what he said about time, and I would even take it a little further and say that the reason why is because like our human perception of time is just so minuscule. It's so like we can't possibly perceive the way it all really works. But knowing that he's outside of time and knowing that he knows everything that happened and already happened, like we're basically like a VHS tape, and this is all playing out, but he's already seen it all. He's already seen it from the beginning to the very end. So I had this theory or this thought exercise of, because we don't fully understand it, what if some of the people that are walking earth right now that are choosing Jesus, that finish the race and end up getting their heavenly bodies, what if those people are the angels in the beginning? I'm just saying, it's a what if.
I mean, I think what's biblical is that we replace those rebellious angels. That's my belief.
What are you saying? What if?
I'm just saying it doesn't work in a linear. It's not working in a linear line. Is all I'm saying. It's not working like the way we think it's working in a linear line.
It's a
like
circle.
What happened? I don't really know. Maybe I don't know.
Well,
I can't even wrap my
overlap.
Parts that overlap, parts that maybe have already taken place that have to do with something that hasn't yet taken place for us.
Well, I got a weird one because there is some aspect to overlapping. Like right now, I mean, we look at this situation with we're waiting for this Gog and Magog battle, right? But then I was like looking at things, and it says there's a trumpet or a horn, right, that announces, right, and then there's a small horn and a big horn. It's talking about in Revelation, right? And then I'm like looking at it, and I'm like thinking trumpet, trumpet, right? And then I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then it's like the battle of Gog and Magog is what's coming, right? Well, the Israel is called the sin of Gog. The sin of Gog. And who's Magog? MAGA. MAGA is Magog. And I'm like, looking at it, like,
I got an interesting video to go with that.
Bro,
we were talking about that last week.
Dude, I'm so looking at it, and I'm like, that is pretty weird. I mean, like, if MAGA is Magog, it's Magog, and then it's MAGA and Gog. It's it's Israel and the United States Trumpers. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that the etymology of words can sound like words. It's like that's when you get these people who say that, Gadriel in the book of Enoch was the serpent who deceived Eve, and therefore Gad kind of sounds like God, so therefore Gad is God, when it doesn't. It's not. It's close, but it's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But I do got an interesting video about the MAGA thing, because I don't know if anybody looked that up. I did confirm that. I mean, I've looked this up before, but yeah, the highest level of the Church of Satan, it's MAGA or is it Magna, right?
No, it's MAGA. It's
no,
straight up MAGA.
I mean, it's both.
Okay.
It's a derivation of both of them. But yeah, this video was really interesting. Check this out.
One of my favorite films was The Magus. Anthony Quinn plays this mysterious person living on an island in Greece. In his house, there is a temple to Poseidon. There is a shot from a distance, and my God, if that temple of Poseidon is not a replica of the one on Epstein's island.
Really?
And then what freaked me out a little bit more, there is one room in that house. There's all these masks on the wall. The room in Epstein's place, he has all these masks, these heads on the wall. And there was a duplicate of that. There's the association with a very wealthy guy controlling the lives of people, playing them as puppets. He's supposedly already dead, but he's not. All these connections are being made. I'm not saying that Epstein saw the movie and said, I want to be Anthony Quinn. What I'm saying is the synchronicities that take place are just the surface of something deeper that's taking place in reality.
It's a glitch in the Matrix, bruh. That's what it is.
Magus.
Magus.
What about maggots?
Probably the same thing.
Okay, so if you go over... we're not going directly to their website, but look, if you go over here, levels of the Church of Satan, are they not actually listing them on here?
ChatGPT's like, we're on to you. We know what you're trying to do.
Should I just go to the website?
Well, you can play
if you dare.
Yeah, go to the website.
I'm sure someone's made a video about it. You could probably just pull up a video about it.
Let me see if Wiki says.
You could probably just pull up the video of Marina Abramovich talking about it. Marina Abramovich literally called Trump the great magician.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Or a wizard or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, check this out. I did find it. I asked. So I looked this up. So here are the degrees. We're not going to go to the Satanic website. I don't really want that on my browser history. But here you go. So check it out. Here's the quick hierarchy. So you got a supporter, first degree, Satanist, second degree, warlock or witch, third degree, priest or priestess, fourth, a magister or a magistra, fifth, magus or MAGA. What that movie was called. Surprise. So yeah, like that's really weird that movie was basically telling a story, and that was in the 70s.
Dang. It's a
Right.
glitch. It's a matrix thing, bro. It's like, it's the code. It's the code fabric weaving and getting mirror images overlapping.
Now, does it make more sense when Elon was at that rally and he said he was dark MAGA?
Yeah, that's creepy, right?
And then he literally proceeded to make black MAGA hats.
Black magic.
I'm just saying, dude, it's like, I don't understand how people don't put this stuff together and they just shrug it off. They're like, oh, come on, you're going too far. And it's like, no, they're literally telling us, man.
Well, it's black magic. He's
Yeah,
trying to
that's
hijack the
jacked
red
up.
MAGA.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about this on another podcast. Actually, I think we were talking about when we were playing Gears of War about how the superheroes have a certain color palette that they use, like in the comic books. And then the bad guys basically have the opposite of it. So this guy was telling them basically the idea of like why like Superman wears like red and blue and Spider-Man wears red and blue. It's because the good guys, they basically use the primary colors. And then when you get to the bad guys, they use the opposite. So they use like the greens, the oranges, and the purples. And that's why it's very common they do. But the most dark characters are using black and red. You think like Darth Vader, you're thinking Palpatine, Darth Sidious with their red lightsabers and their black cloaks and all that stuff. You're
MAGA hat with their dark MAGA.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
you got the red
interesting.
hat and you got the black hat.
It's always black and red. You're right, though.
Black and red. Remember when Biden gave that speech? Remember, it was like 2022, and he was like all lit up with red and black. It was just, it had the vibe of that movie V for Vendetta. Remember, like the one party who was obviously trying to mimic, the Germans from the 30s.
Yep.
Everything was like a very fierce red and black. Yeah, even like in Star Wars, again, you have like, remember the Imperial Guard wear like these blood red cloaks. And so everything around like the Emperor's throne is black or just blood red.
Yep.
Just like the hats they wear.
Interesting.
Okay, I got a quick transition. I should have played this earlier about, again, this is all theater. This is all a show. This is all propaganda. And the news is obviously part of the magic, and it's so fake.
If you watch the news, you need to watch this video first and understand that the greatest form of mind control is repetition. This just got posted on Twitter, and it's going absolutely viral because people are remembering that, yeah, a couple corporations do own all the media. So you think you're getting this illusion of choice, like, let me put on a different channel. Listen to this.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers.
We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary, short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain.
We have to focus on...
And you want to know why repetition is the greatest form of cognitive influence? Because it strengthens neural connections, fosters the illusory truth effect, and reduces cognitive load, making familiar information feel more reliable and credible over time. Didn't you hear George Bush? By the way, that video goes on for like 3 minutes. George Bush said something to the effect of, we got to say it a whole bunch of times so it really sinks in. At the end of the day, all of a sudden, a lot of what everyone believes is just something they heard a lot of times. That's how easily our minds, they are very powerful, but also they have a couple different weaknesses if you're not aware of. You will be manipulated. And then read this. Repetitive behaviors and messages provide a sense of stability and comfort. You're hearing something that doesn't shake you up. It's like, yeah, I've heard this before. It's normal. But I'm sure this is nothing. The news is to make sure you're informed.
So creepy. And that is how witchcraft works, guys. Just so y'all know, that is straight up witchcraft. And it's all comes down to words and spelling. That's part of it.
Well, that's exactly what we were showing with the Paula White thing. We were saying, like, Jesus says, do not repeat things over and over again, like the pagans do. And then you have her doing it. And then you have the pagan news organizations doing the exact same thing, except they're not doing it. They're not themselves repeating themselves, but you're hearing it enough if you're watching Fox News. You probably heard that phrase repeated how many times? You think about the boomers who still watch Fox News. How many times they hear that in one day? And before you know it, they're outside. It like literally is like the NPC memes. Oh, there's going to be some short-term pain and long-term gain. You could see these neighbors saying it right back to each other. Oh, yeah. You know, there's going to be some short-term pain, but there's going to be some long-term gain.
Oh, it's all about the short-term pain and long-term gain. You know, that video at the very end, the one guy says, he says short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. The guy at the end, and you're like, oh, at least the dude at the end of the video, he didn't play it in that clip, but the video goes on for like 3 minutes of them saying that. And
Push your mic closer, Brian.
And the one guy says the short-term sacrifice, and it's pretty funny. Is my mic working better, by the way? No?
Yes.
Okay. I switched the channels. Should I turn it up?
Yeah, turn it up a little bit.
Turning it up. How about that?
Just a skosh. Perfect.
Okie doke. Yeah, so it's very fascinating. Checking that though. You know, I
know she threw me off when she said short-term spike. I'm like, is she going to say long-term hike?
I've got another video I want to share if you guys want, or if you want to say more about that.
We can shift.
Now this one's interesting because it goes into the same alignment with the previous stuff. But again, this is not. I don't I don't agree with everything they're going to say in this video, but I thought it was fascinating some of the points that they bring up, because this is again the dispensationalistic view, which most of us here we don't agree with at this point. But they do mention some stuff that's kind of like, that's interesting. Makes you kind of like go, So I don't know. Maybe we'll cut it out. Maybe we'll leave it in. I don't know. Check it out, though.
Whose face is on the temple coin for the third temple that's about to happen in Jerusalem?
King Cyrus and Donald Trump.
Who is King Cyrus?
King Cyrus is the Persian king who gave the right to Israel to rebuild their temple. So Trump is basically fulfilling that same role as King Cyrus did.
And did you know that the Israel Heritage Foundation gave Donald Trump the Prince of Peace Award after he brokered the Abraham Accords? And then again in 2023, they gave him the Crown of Jerusalem.
So he's making a lot of peace in the Middle East, right?
Are the people of Jerusalem expecting that Trump is going to herald in the rebuilding of the blasphemous Third Temple?
Yes.
The beast in Revelation has 10 horns, but one stands out among them all. What is so special about the one horn?
It's boastful and speaks blasphemy.
And what does a horn generally symbolize?
A king.
And who is incredibly braggadocious and proud?
It's gonna be the best wall ever.
Never gonna see a temple like this. Could never be done. They said it could never be done.
But Donald Trump's name, if you use gematria, doesn't add up to a special 3-digit number, does it, Tati?
It does not. That is why we are not making any crazy prophecy here. We are just telling you what our two eyes see. He is the crowned King Cyrus, about to bring in the building of the third temple, which will bring in a certain 3-digit number, which is the name. The number equals the name of a man.
And what man is very close to Donald Trump who may have that number, Tati?
Mr. J. Kushner, who was also integral in bringing about the Abraham Accords and is now the special envoy for the Board of Peace in the Middle East.
So you're saying that there's something going on with this Kushner guy. Well, what building on 5th Ave does he also own?
He owns 666 5th Avenue.
Wow.
The #1 most expensive real estate purchase in American history.
He paid a lot of money for that specific building because he wanted that number because he knew that it was for his name.
Who is heading up the rebuilding of Gaza?
Jared Kushner.
Where is Gaza?
In between Jerusalem and the sea.
Where does Daniel 11:45 say that the Antichrist will make his tent?
In between Jerusalem and the sea. We're not making any claims.
This is not a prophecy. I'm just saying a lot of things are adding up. A lot of things.
There's a lot going on.
Things you wouldn't believe. They never thought we could add this many things up in such a short amount of time.
Maranatha, come back Christ. Also, you're not getting raptured.
Kind of interesting, right?
Well, I mean, again, this is what I believe is them using the Bible as a playbook, but this is a
agreed.
This is not actual
It's fabricated.
prophecy.
Well, it's fabricated end times events.
Yeah, the thing is, okay, so Cyrus famously made the decree to rebuild the temple, but then it wasn't even actually officially done until like Artaxerxes later did it, which many people believe that's what kicked off the 70 weeks. I mean, the whole third temple thing is just, yeah, at least I like that they said that it's blasphemous. It's not something that God wants. It's not something that God needs.
Well, we know
and
the
I think
10
that the only
horns.
reason people do think we need a third temple is because they believe that Daniel's 70 weeks has not played out.
Yeah.
Now, we in this
know that's
audience
happened.
disagree. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of interesting things about that. But yeah, it almost seems too on the nose.
It's
And
just
who's,
fabricated.
So who's the Antichrist? Are they saying Jared Kushner?
They're
might
trying
be
to
the
say Jared
Antichrist?
Kushner's name lines up with 666, but Jared Kushner does own, I guess, 666 Avenue,
But
his
yeah,
building.
that's a real thing.
That's
Actually, I think they changed
fascinating.
the address. It's not 666 Fifth Avenue anymore.
Oh, it's not? Really?
No.
Wow,
No, you can look that up. But I want to say that he sold the property, but maybe he still owns it, but it's not called that anymore.
Oh, of course.
Maybe it was too on the nose again.
It's too-
Isn't it interesting, though, that everything that's taking place on the global stage speaks to everything that the Americanized church has been taught
Yes.
by the American pastors in the largest pulpits in America?
Yes.
It's like everything they've been taught. So all of the Sunday Christians, quote unquote, that haven't read their Bibles, that don't have a personal relationship with Jesus, and I'm not being offensive or rude. I'm talking specifically about a group of people that have allowed pastors to teach them and not Jesus or the Holy Spirit to teach them. Everything that's playing out speaks to everything that they have been taught. And there is some hard cognitive dissonance in some of those people, even some of those people that have begun a relationship with Jesus and they haven't quite stepped out of a lot of those false teachings yet. They're still holding on to things like the pre-trib rapture and other stuff like that. And they will even call it heresy if you think anything different. And it's like everything that's unfolding speaks to that ideology to a T. It's not a coincidence.
No, not at all. Well, you know what this is? It's left behind theology. It's fan fictional theology is what it is.
Which Kirk Cameron himself has walked away from, by the way.
Exactly. He's the one. Yeah, he's gone. He said a lot of things recently I've agreed with. I'm not exactly sure what his view on eschatology is. The last I heard, he believed in like a post-tribulation rapture. So
yeah,
he's changed on a lot of things. I can't vouch for all the things he believes now, but
who knows?
No, but that's what I believe left behind. I mean, I don't think this is even. It's not blasphemous to say this. Like that movie is fan fiction. So they try to take modern
straight up
technology and try to mix it in to sort of Christian-ish doctrine. But that's the interesting thing. And I always have to point this out is that, yes, the Protestant view in America is different than the historic church ever had. And most Christians here don't know that because they're ignorant. And we talked about last week how my people perish for lack of knowledge. Like, so you don't even know what the church has taught. But I really think this, I want to just discuss this real quick, and I'll be brief because I've talked about this a lot. The 70-week prophecy in Daniel. There's no point in the Bible where it says there's a break in it. And so you have to understand like the full context about the third temple, or the idea of like a third temple being not in the Bible. Because when Daniel gets this prophecy, it's when Jerusalem is in ruins, there is no temple at all. So that would be the first temple that was destroyed by Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar. So he's getting this prophecy, and this prophecy is all kicked off. Like the beginning of the 70 weeks starts with the decree to rebuild the temple, not build a third one, rebuild the one that had just been destroyed 70 years prior. So you follow the 70 weeks, and of course you get to the end of it, and this is when the Messiah shows up. And then the Messiah gets cut off midway through the week. And then there's a certain amount of days between when the sacrifices are cut off till the desolation happens. And
Which
so
already
it's really
happened.
funny when you actually just dig into what the 70 weeks prophecy is. People think it's got so many more things in it than it does. It ends kind of on a down note for the people who live there. You know, Daniel's really grieved about what he sees. Now, it says that in Daniel 12, it says that there's going to be people that are going to shine like the wise are going to shine like the stars. And there's a glimpse of the resurrection in there. But as regarding Jerusalem and the temple, destroyed, desolate. And so that's the thing that this was probably the linchpin for me to starting to believe in the little season, was reading my Bible over and over again, cover to cover. So when you see that, okay, so the sacrifices are going to be cut off at a certain point.
Which already happened.
Well, that happened. But I mean, that's what I was saying. I was like, that was something really hard for me. I struggle with that idea. How can we be waiting on the sacrifice to be cut off when they have been cut off? So they have to start again for them to be cut off.
That's literally the justification that Christians right now
It
have to
makes
make.
no logical sense, because you think about it, they would have been sacrificing in this temple after the rebuilding for what, like 500 years ish?
Bro, yeah.
So they would have been sacrificing consistently for 500 years, and then they're cut off. And then this whole temple system is made desolate in 70 AD. So how do you need a third temple? Because God, he's the one who did away with the temple system. And I said, it was funny, we talked about that on the Ancient Roots podcast, is even Tucker, when he was talking to Mike Huckabee, he was saying the genocide people never talk about is the one the Romans did to the Jews in 70 AD, and they banned them from Jerusalem for 500 years. And he was like, and I'm against all that. And I'm like, I'm not against anything that God has done. It's like, that's the part about the Bible that people don't really like to talk about. It's God who sent Babylon to take Judah into captivity. It's God who sent Assyria to take Israel into captivity. It's God who sent the Romans to make Jerusalem desolate. So that is something that our sovereign God did.
See, that's one of the hardest parts. That was one of the hardest things during the sanctification process as I pursued deeper understanding, and the Holy Spirit started showing me things, understanding the sovereignty of God. It's really hard to wrap your brain around at first, but the more you understand, it's like he uses all of that stuff for his good, just like Romans 8:28 says. And so we see these horrible things happening. We can't wrap our brain around it. It's like, you don't understand. It's like a doctor, right? He understands. He makes an incision with something that we think is horrific, catastrophic. These horrible, horrible, evil people, like what you're talking about, what the Romans did. And it's like, when you look at it by itself, it's like, sure, like that's awful. What they did was awful, but it needed to happen. It needed to happen. Like, all of that stuff had to happen. And understanding the sovereignty of God and the fact that all of these things work together. It's like looking back at your own life and going, okay, so those things that I thought were going to destroy me and kill me and take me out, that hurt, that made me suffer, they brought me here. They brought me to this point, and they changed things. But I sorry, not to make too much of a segue, but what you're speaking to, JT, is it's so important for people to understand that those things were ordained, and he used all of those groups of people in history to accomplish a greater purpose.
Right. And you know what? So it's what the devil likes to do is he likes to maybe emphasize the promises of God and tries to hide or deny the warnings of God. All the way back to the Garden of Eden, where he's trying to say, you're not going to die if you eat that fruit. Did he really say that? So they go and eat the fruit. And so what the devil did was causes Eve and Adam to disobey God. And then they're left with the consequences. And the devil being the accuser, now he's saying, see, these people are not worthy. You made them to have dominion of this place. These people are filthy. They're sinners. They're terrible. That is what the devil did. And so I think in the same way that when you see what caused the judgment of God, that's what the devil wants to hide. It's like they want to say, oh, like the Romans were bad. It's like, we're not saying the Romans were good for doing what they did, but God used them because of what the people in Judea did, that they crucified God's son. Now, that had to happen, but I mean, God uses wicked people to accomplish his good for everybody. In the same way, in the story of Joseph, that his brothers, interesting, Israel sells Joseph into slavery, who innocent man, and he ends up saving them. So they were guilty of sin for what they did, but God used that, what the devil meant for evil, God used for our good. And I think this is really important. And I was talking to Brian about this the other day. Is it's really interesting the way that we're looking at lineages, people trying to tie themselves back to Abraham so they can have some kind of land grant. Say, I got the deed to this land. That's another big part of like the Mike Huckabee thing. So we are related to Abraham, so therefore this land is ours. Well, what's really interesting is the way Judaism works today is that you're Jewish by your mother's side. And I think this is really important. This is a complete inversion of the way the Bible does genealogies. Because if you go read them, and I know a lot of people get bored with genealogies in the Bible, but they're very important when you actually read them. Because the most important genealogy is Adam to Christ. So then you think about, you go Adam, Noah, Shem, then you get down to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, then you get to King Jesus. And so the important part, once you get to David, is the Davidic line, right? So God promised David that one of his descendants would be on the throne forever. So that's the real kind of key part. So you have this promise to Abraham that's fulfilled through Jacob, and then, again, the sons of Jacob, the sons of Israel. This leads to David, then leads to Christ. So the important thing is, like, you're following this lineage of these people that God made promises to, that ultimately everything's fulfilled through Jesus himself. But what the modern Judaism is saying, no, we're not following that line anymore, which is weird, right? And here's why it's interesting. And here's why the third temple all ties into all that, is that when they had when they came from Babylon and Assyria and built the temple again, in the times of Nehemiah, they had to have like their genealogies. They were trying to tie themselves back to the tribes of Israel. So what they did is, and a lot of them couldn't do it, but some could. So what the important part is specifically is the line of the Levites, who could be the priestly caste, because like this is literally what the law says. And then you have, again, the Davidic line that is your royal class in Israel or Judah. Well, when the Romans destroyed the temple in 70 AD, all the records, the genealogies were wiped out then too. And so the important part, I want to say, like, and again, this is what we're told, that the office, or the Davidic, like, kind of office for Judaism was outlawed by the Romans at one point. The truth be told, though, when they destroyed the temple, there was no way to have the receipts to say you're related to David. So now what they do is they say, oh, if your mom is Jewish, even if she converted to Judaism,
everything was
lost. Kids are Jewish. So there's no land grant based on that. I mean, obviously that makes no sense. That'd be like if one of our kids converted to Judaism, her kids would be Jewish, and therefore they would be able to go to Israel and have some kind of stake in that place. Absolutely crazy. But what I think is really cool is that the last kings of Judah are talked about. You have Jeconiah goes into captivity from Nebuchadnezzar, and later he's allowed to live. Well, then you have, I think, Zerubbabel, and I forget the other guy's name. But if you look in the genealogies at the beginning of the Gospels, they go all through that, the King David's line to get to Christ. And so Jesus is literally like the last person who can actually tie themselves to King David. I think that's awesome. You really think about it. Like the last king in Judah was Zedekiah, again, in the line of David. The next king and the last king is Christ. And nobody else can tie themselves to David except for him. And it's
That's
literally
awesome.
written in the Gospels. I think that speaks to God's providence, that the temple was destroyed and that whole old system wiped out.
Destroyed all of
God
it.
promised him a king, David a king in his line, and we've got it, and we've still got it. And anybody tries to tell you anything different than that is lying to you.
Yep.
Period.
Yeah,
There's
that
nothing
was
even to say to that because honestly, you said it all. It's like so perfect.
all right. Well,
No,
let's switch
yeah.
gears. Do you guys got a video, or do you guys want me to play something?
Yeah, I got one.
You want to set it up?
All right, so I got something. This will be with Aaron. He'll like this one. Did you see the disruption
In what?
the 432? Do you see how it was moving versus the stagnant?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what do you think,
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
share? Are you going to play it again?
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
show it again.
Yeah, here. What do you think, Aaron, about that? Because I mean, what's the magic frequency? Is the which one? The one that you try to keep in?
Well, it's not magic. Let's be very
Yeah,
clear.
I'm just joking. That's the 440 versus the 432. So what is our music all today? Isn't it in what range is it in?
Yeah, so all of it's in 440.
Right now it's in the 440.
But 440 is showing it looking better.
It's
in this
more
video.
Would you say what do you mean? What would you say makes it better?
But this one is kind of like
Moving
alive? Yeah, alive or something.
versus stagnant and less shapes?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
So the first thing I'll tell you, and this is what's very difficult about the internet. If you were to right now pull up 440 versus 432 tests, you could play 5 different videos. You'll see 5 different results. Completely.
Yeah.
Like completely. That's the first time I have ever seen 440 or 432 looking that way. If I'm
Really?
being completely honest. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that was like looking down at a pool of black water, and then they play a speaker. My friend has the same machine, and you play a speaker, and there's a camera you can set right on top, and then there's a ring light on that, and so the ring light, when it hits the black water, when the speaker goes through the water, it creates those little ripple waves.
Yeah, so I'm actually in the process of building one of those so that I can do my own tests and show different people. So the higher the frequency you go, generally the more intricate, not generally, literally the more intricate the patterns get.
Mm-hmm.
And the more it breaks them down into different shapes and different things. That one, you see the difference between 440 and 432. So the 440 one is like stagnant. It's like it's not moving. It's not doing anything. What you generally see with most 440 tests, like if you look at a Chladni plate with the sand on it versus the water, and you also see this in most other water tests, I would actually be interested in you pulling up a different 440 versus 432 just so that you can show how diverse the test results are. This is one of those things where it's totally dependent on whether the plate's level. It's dependent on the medium that's being used. It's dependent on how accurate the frequency machine is. Like using an app on your phone that's connected to the speaker versus using something that's an actual like old school. They have actual old school tone generators that are like analog, and they're built into these units by themselves. My dad actually has one of those like machines. It's just a giant machine. They cost like $700 or $800 now, and all they do is generate tones. that is a much more accurate test of 440 versus 432. And you can see how the 441 is just completely jumbled.
Yeah, it's a blob.
It's a blob, which is just like basically, if you imagine the brain being one of the two of those, it's confusion. It's kind of chaotic. It's cloudy. And if you listen, I'm telling you, like that pattern that you're looking at right there, if you listen to 440 intentionally and you listen to 432 intentionally, you will feel the difference in terms of feeling chaotic versus feeling more calm and collected. So 432, they call it the frequency of the earth. They say that like everything in like the natural frequency of the earth, everything is kind of harmonized in 432. That's the reason I use 432, because it's just calming. It's just more relaxing. It's not necessarily healing. It's only healing in the sense that it's not causing you disruption. Does that make sense? It's not like you put 432 on and you listen to 432, whether it's a pure sine frequency or 432 music, you're not just going to get healed because you're listening to 432. Whereas some people think that if they listen to 528, it's going to heal them. There's other like 444, 417. There's other frequencies where people believe that the frequency alone can heal you. Now, I will say that there are certain frequencies that literally break up molecules inside of your body. And the perfect example of that is the machinery that they use to break up kidney stones. And so that same frequency that they use to break up, and if you go to the doctor and you get that done, you will actually hear the noise from it. You will hear the sound of the thing that they use. It like whirls at a specific frequency. And that's the same technology that people believe were used in these old cathedrals where the organs were played to literally shake your organs. And the frequency, the reverberation, it also has to do with the decibels, the how loud the volume is, would shake your innards, and it would dissipate any imperfections or cancerous cells or whatever existed in your body.
What a weird
and
name.
Get rid of them.
What a weird thing to call it an organ. I always thought, like, when I heard the first name of it, I was like, why is that called an organ? And I always thought it was so weird. But the more you think about it, you're like, was it really? Like, how is that not connected to organs in your stomach and your body in some capacity?
Well, you think about what even like an organ, like a pipe organ has all these tubes in it, kind of like your body has all these different tubes and blood vessels.
And those organs were created in those large cathedrals. Like they didn't make organs for home use. You know what I mean? Like you can emulate organ sounds now, of course, with different digital audio workstations. But those organs were created and built into these old cathedrals.
And
like you were saying, they've got
pipes all the way through them. Some of them,
yeah, some of them are so epic.
And you look at the way they're designed and created.
It's like unusual. Like, who even thought to make an instrument like this and run it through the walls like that? It's so crazy to think about.
Completely. But if you were to go in, I guarantee you, if you were to go into one of those cathedrals and have them play those organs, especially play some of the lower notes and probably some of the higher notes as well, I would imagine they played them in conjunction. And they were to play those, they would reverberate in the frequency that building was created to make. And you would feel it shaking your guts. Like you would literally feel it shaking your whole, like your insides completely.
There's one organ I saw that was built into a cave. They built a cave into it. Look that one up, JT. Type in cave organ.
So the understanding is that these cathedrals, they weren't built as churches. They were built as healing centers. They were built as places for people to go and gather in while they played that stuff and there was healing. Now, if we're running with the idea like Luke posed in his Tinfoil to Truth video that we shared last week, that these buildings were helped, the creation was assisted by the resurrected saints with their heavenly bodies, then it would make sense that these things were created and performed in conjunction with the love of Jesus and some sort of demonstration or teaching of Jesus, not necessarily what we would consider church or preaching, but it would make sense that it was done in conjunction with them understanding where this healing was taking place.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being a practical medicinal use, like come here and get your healing.
Yeah, that cave organ is designed to literally play the stalactites. It like is,
dude, that's so awesome.
Dude, isn't that fascinating? It's like hooked
Dude, you
up
know what?
to the
That's straight out of the
stalactites
Goonies.
to hammer them. Oh, and it does feel like it. And so like
remember
they
the Goonies when they're playing the bones?
I don't remember that, but I would have.
Dude, yeah, you're right. I do remember that.
But yeah, they're playing the bones, and the floor
And it
was
opens
breaking
a
away.
door. Yeah, it shakes the whole place.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that one's hooked up to like all the different stalactites they found in this cave where they could hit them and they would like reverberate. And so apparently it's like all connected.
That's one of the things that I am working on. I am working on building a machine that I can capture the frequencies from a real sign machine to give accurate results of what these different frequencies do, because there are so many skewed results online that aren't necessarily accurate.
Yeah, the machine my friend has, he like literally just bought it off of eBay, and it looks like a weird little box thing that he got, and it's
wooden, right?
Yeah.
And you put sand on it and it shakes it. It's got a speaker built in. Those ones are not, they're not necessarily made.
It looks like someone made it in their garage. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
What are
There's
they-
the
what are they-
Goonies.
What are those
You know, it's
machines
funny
called
you're
again?
talking about this subject, because it makes me think of when we had Max Powers on the podcast, and also the fact that I just read about the story of Jericho in the book of Joshua just this week. And so what was interesting about that is that, yeah, that sound has the ability to heal, but obviously in the Bible, it's shown that it has the power to destroy.
Yeah, tear
Like
down walls.
Like literally the seven
Absolutely.
trumpets, the blast, the walking around the city, the walls crumble inside of itself. And then so on that podcast, we were showing this clip from David Bowie on this old talk show. And he was talking about black noise. Have you ever seen that clip, Aaron?
I don't think so.
No.
It's
Derek's
it's
gonna love
super
that.
interesting. should I,
You gotta
should I
show
dig
him.
up that clip?
Yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah, okay. You guys can talk and I'll find it.
But yeah, no, it's as far as sound goes, and that's one of the reasons why I literally just stick with 432, because I know it's safe and I know it's calming and I know it does not do what 440 does. I've had requests for me to make stuff in other frequencies, and I've toyed around with making music in other frequencies, but 432 is safe, and so that's where I stay. And that's also why I don't recommend people experiment with different frequencies, because there are other frequencies that will straight up trigger you. Like they will straight up trigger you and like activate rage and other emotions in you. And so they absolutely use frequencies for destructive purposes. It's not even a question. And I mean, that's what they're doing with 440. That's the whole reason why music is put out in 440.
Here you go. So this might be a little bit meta. JT's mixtape, showing a clip of JT's mixtape, but that's where,
Wouldn't be our
that's where
first
we're
time.
at in 70 something episodes in. Because if bells had the ability to heal in the story of Jericho, sound actually destroyed things.
What is black noise? Black noise is the register within which you can crack a city or people. It's a new controlled bomb. It's a noise bomb. You could buy the patent for it in the French patent office for about equivalent to $3-4. A small one could probably kill about half the people here, but a big one could destroy a city, or even more. I mean,
isn't it interesting that the guy that played Tesla in that movie is the one talking about this, David Bowie? That's funny.
It is interesting. I mean, like, I get it. Musician, he would have some kind of knowledge of sounds, but like, yeah, it's weird. Like, he seemed like he knew a lot about that.
Pretty unusual that he's just like, why are you asking about that? And he just like pops off like some explanation of it. Clearly David Bowie's like knowing something, learning something. I mean, like, why would he even be like, you can buy a patent on it at about $3 or $4? Like, why would you even know that? Like, who would know that? I don't know what the French patent off it is.
I thought his body language was super interesting when he's like, I mean, a small one take out about half the people here, and it wasn't like a smile or anything like I just smiled, but it was like a knowing look, like, yeah, you could kill about half the people here. This one is very strange.
Yeah, I was thinking like he was going to say, "Oh, I could break this glass." Like you didn't expect him to say it would murder all these people in the room.
He gave the look like, yeah, this is really dark, but honestly, yeah, about half of them.
And he's like, "Yeah, well, how much money are you talking about putting into it? It's not just the patent."
Like he's done this deal a couple times.
He's been in a room where they've discussed what it would take to do that.
So, and that was how old that he did that interview? 70s?
I want to say that was probably sometime in the 70s. Look like
so. They've had that information for centuries, and it's not that hard. It's not that far fetched. So if you think about, everyone's seen those old clips of like an opera singer singing really high, and they hold the glass, and the glass shatters. That's very real because they're singing at the same frequency that the glass resonates, and that's one thing. Everyone thinks it's a new agey thing, but it's not. Everything literally has a frequency. Everything has an actual frequency. So you can get a tuning fork, and your tuning fork can be 417, let's just say, and you can have another tuning fork that's 432. If you hit the 417 and hold it next to the 432, it doesn't do anything at all. It doesn't do anything. There are two different frequencies. If you hit the 417 and you're holding another 417, even a foot away, it will vibrate the other 417. It will shake it, even from a distance. And everyone can test this. You can literally go buy cheap tuning forks and do this. If you hit 432, 440, 528, and you're holding, a different frequency in this hand, it won't do anything at all. But if you hit a 528 tuning fork and you're holding a 528 tuning fork, it will shake it.
Yeah, resonant, sympathetic resonance. So they call that.
So the louder this one rings, the further the distance you can have between the two tuning forks, and it will vibrate it and shake it. So ultimately, you find the frequency of a building, you find the frequency of anything, and you get something loud enough to resonate that frequency at that object, it will destroy it.
Well, that's essentially how the heart attack gun works. So people don't know, like the heart attack gun that was patented and developed by the United States, it's secretive and nobody knows about it, but everybody knows about it if you want to look it up. It basically is a frequency that that has attuned to your blood. I believe it's either your blood or the muscles in your heart. And so when they point it at a person, supposedly that's tuned to the frequency that your heart has, the tissues in your heart muscles are resonate, and so it causes them to vibrate, and then explode, and then you have a heart attack, or your blood either begins.
I wonder if it could make you go into like AFib.
But I guess that's what it's doing. I mean, it's just doing it to where your heart muscles just freak out, and then they just.
I can promise you, they've explored and experimented with trying to trigger every single natural, horrible thing that could happen to a human.
Probably.
Well, sonic weapons are absolutely a real thing. Even think about it in Stranger Things, that in like the most recent seasons, that the military was using this sound to buffer against 11. 11 couldn't take, not only could she not use her powers, but it was causing her to have basically incapacitate her. Isn't it kind of interesting though that regardless if 11 has, magic powers or spiritual powers, why doesn't that do that to everybody? That sound, right? I mean, is he not human?
Well, there are certain. I would say that there are sounds and frequencies that would do that to everybody. Now, imagine. I want to take you on a thought experiment here. Now, imagine 11 is a dragon, and that sound is a bell.
Right.
Dragons don't like bells, just like T-Rexes don't like. They can't see moving things.
I would say dragons, demons, and all of the things that operate in the lower frequencies in the fourth dimension don't like bells.
I'll tell you something interesting that I deal with all the time. People that get demon possessed oftentimes will hear a ringing sound before the spirit comes into them. Did you know that? It's pretty interesting. They hear a ringing sound. They hear bells. It says they like multiple times they'll hear bells or like a ringing sound before they get. Same thing with like astral projection. They'll like before somebody leaves their body, the demon will go into them, and when it goes into them, they feel a vibration in their body. They say they feel this vibration. All of them, everybody that has astral projection experiences or deals with this kind of stuff understands what I'm talking about. Their body will start to vibrate, and they'll hear ringing sound or bells.
What's funny about that is every single time my ears start to ring, I pray.
That's great. Wise advice. Wise advice.
I pray and I rebuke any demonic activity that's taking place every single time my ears ring. I've done that for as long as I can remember, just
That's
because
great.
it feels like what I should do.
Dude, you know what's funny is that Peter Pan tells you every time there's a ringing bell, a fairy gets its wings, right? Something like that. Isn't that what they say, JT? Peter Pan?
That's creepy, dude.
Oh, everything.
Every time a bell rings, a fairy gets its wings or something, right? What is it? Every time
Right, that's
somebody
in
smiles or
It's
claps.
a Wonderful Life.
Is that what it is?
Every
Okay.
time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings, and they say it over
Yeah,
and over
that's
again in
what
the
it is.
movie.
That's what it is. And you're like,
And so what are they saying? So someone dies? Someone crosses over into the spirit realm?
Well, not the way
no.
the movie presents it.
They're just saying angels earn their wings when they hear
well,
ringing.
it's basically akin to what I was saying before about how I believe you can make a biblical case that we replace the angels. So the way that the movie was kind of showing, like there's this transitional period before, once we die, the saints are given wings later by acts they need to do. Because that's the whole thing. Like the
like they
Clarence
earn 'em.
is the guardian angel, but he doesn't have wings yet, and so he's trying to get
And it's also
what's his name, Jimmy Stewart's character to, he's helping him, and when he does, he'll get his wings.
And it's also like Tinker Bell. But also she's also gets. They talk about the fairies getting their wings when somebody claps or something. What is that? I forget.
You know what? What's funny though that you said that about the dragon, Aaron. Got to go Lord of the Rings on you guys. I got to go some Tolkien. In the Hobbit, in the Desolation of Smaug. You know where the guy shoots his arrow from that kills Smaug?
Bell Tower.
From the Bell Tower. He killed
Bell
the
Tower
dragon
where there's
from
a
the Bell
missing
Tower.
and there's no longer a bell. It's just that like harpoon launcher. Very interesting.
It's all
the
connected.
dragons don't like bells. The bells!
And we always talk about how Venom, Peter Parker gets the Venom costume off of himself by going up to the top of the bell tower, and the bells vibrate the demon off of him.
There's another movie where that happens actually as well. What is that called? Van Helsing? You ever seen the movie Van Helsing?
I saw it a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, a long time ago. With the one that has Wolverine in it.
Yeah, it's got Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. Okay. So that Van Helsing, he meets Jekyll, Mr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde tries to kill him, and he hits a bell, and then Jekyll is like, ah, and he like freaks out because he hits the bell, and he starts like panicking, and he realizes like the bell is like a weakness to Mr. Jekyll, to the demon Jekyll.
It makes complete and absolute sense that the demonic realm would absolutely hate bells. The frequency of a bell and the dynamics of a bell and the loudness of a bell. Yeah, it makes complete and absolute sense.
What about the idea that the Nazi scientists were trying to develop some kind of a device called the bell?
Yeah, the flying bell thing they were making, right?
What was
What if it
spaceship.
flew? What if it flew based on vibrations?
Frequency. Yeah.
That would make sense.
They figured out the
bees do
frequency
that.
of the air molecules, and they were able to like vibrate and make the bell.
Well, you guys have seen that like famous, maybe you haven't, but there's this guy, I want to say in the 40s or 50s, he found some beetle.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know if that's real, but I know what you're talking about.
That makes sense to me, dude. He found this beetle, and there's video footage of him. He got these beetles, and he holds the wings. And he shows taking the wing off of one of these beetles, and he sets it, and it hovers.
But it's
the wing
static
itself.
electricity could do that too, though.
Who knows what it is? We're not scientists. I don't know what it was that was forcing it to float above the desk or above the table. But I mean, it's the same thing with.
Yeah, but then
when
he
you look at,
supposedly glued all these beetle wings to the bottom of
thousands
his,
of them, right,
to the bottom
of
of
his
his board,
thing, and he floated around.
standing on it. But that looks.
So I don't know if that's true.
That's very.
I don't know if that's true, but I would imagine something exists in terms of. I mean, like look at magnets.
I mean, you
know,
also mentioned like the bees wings, like they're not flying because of like air pressure.
No,
some people theorize that the frequency that they're flapping their wings at is what's creating them to hover, because they kind of just hover and float.
Yeah, they do, and so you know, listen, I'm not even gonna pretend to understand or intimate that I understand how all of that works. I definitely don't. It's fascinating. I know that there's so much information we don't have access to, and I don't think it's as complicated as people think it is. I think that like the answers are found in nature in terms of how we would create something like that.
Well,
would be able to float or hover.
We know that we can make music. You ever seen the guys where they, put the speakers in their car and like boom, 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 and like the whole car starts to like, and it looks like it's moving. The glass in the metal looks like it's like doing this.
Well, and people will say that it's an optical illusion, that it's just a frame rate thing. I actually in one of my videos, I posted it on the Echoes of Truth. You guys can go watch it. I show a visual demonstration of that, and it's booming, and you see the car door like flapping open, and people are like, that's just a visual effect. But the thing is when it's moving, when the metal is like changing shape, you can see inside the car. You can see into the car.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like
you
the
can see into
car
the
door, like when it's doing that thing, the car door is opening and you can see the side of the door crack between the two doors. It's like it's waving, but it's doing this, and it's like opening. The door looks like it's opening and closing and opening and closing.
The metal's like bending in a wave, but not permanently. And
That's
you can
weird.
see it visibly because it's so loud. It's at the right frequency, and it's so loud that it's doing that. But like there's another example where if you get one of those like didgeridoos, we talked about this before, those long tubes that are like, you put something heavy in the middle of that, anything. You could put something that weighs 150 pounds in the middle of that. And if you hold the opening of that directly over the top of it while you make it resonate, it will float it.
Mm-hmm.
It will make that thing float.
My friend's got a few didgeridoos. I'm gonna go over to his house and ask him.
Yeah, dude, do it. Get some video footage. Put something heavy. I mean, it's got to, like, I think obviously it's got to, size-wise, it's got to be relative to the opening of the didgeridoo. But if you think about that on a larger scale, you get something to resonate that powerfully and that loud and in a more open circumference, you could float anything.
Right. My friend didgeridooed my head before I was a Christian, and he was like, what is that called? Like a healing. He does like healing sound bath stuff.
My friend didgeridooed my head. That's crazy.
like we're all like, everybody's like laying down on the ground, and he like did this sound healing thing. It's like totally probably shamanic and demonic, but
it is.
And he went around with the thing and was like, like, and it was kind of interesting feeling, like, because he had it like right here on my head.
Yeah.
And I could feel something. It felt pretty weird. It was like, I was like, that's a really interesting feeling. It kind of felt like you
didgeridooed my head.
Yeah, you didgeridooed my head, bro.
It makes me think of that African guy.
Say what?
Are you gay?
Oh, are you gay? Why are you gay? Why are you gay? No. And so he does. That's like his thing. Yeah, that's like his. It's like he does a sound healing bath thing. So he does it to everybody. It wasn't like I was like, bro, just do me. It was like a whole class.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah.
Don't dig yourself any deeper in this hole. I want to switch to something. This is maybe a palate cleanser, but you guys mentioned sound, music, and cars. Back in the day, commercials used to be so lit.
Taurus, now a North American car with the shape and the feel we've never seen before. Taurus, now there is a personal car that has exactly what we've been looking for.
For all of us who will not compromise, Ford listened. Ford created Taurus for us.
Taurus! Taurus for us!
That was everything about the 80s that I love, dude. Was that not the car that Chevy Chase is driving in
You talking
some of the
about
National
Vacation? No,
Lampoon?
he had a really piece of crap beater wagon. I remember the beginning of the show. He at the beginning of the movie he trades it in. Remember, and he gets like the worst possible car.
Yeah.
No, but exactly. The 80s. The 80s had
Taurus!
so much personality.
So funny.
Why don't they do that anymore?
Oh man, I don't know. But
Because they're waiting for us to bring it back. We need to make music like that.
We'll just start doing commercials.
Well, it's kind of funny
like that
because
again.
it's not like we weren't unaware of like campy cringe stuff, but it's almost like, is that part of the charm of it, that it is kind of goofy?
It's so
It sounds like,
cringe.
this is what
Taurus!
probably where you got like the Mentos commercials.
Yeah,
where like
that's exactly
the people
it.
are all like looking around eating ice cream. Yeah,
Mentos
exactly.
versus
That's
for
that
your
had
life.
it even had it had the same beats to the song, right?
It's
We need to make.
hilarious.
I'm gonna remake.
don't know.
I'm gonna make you a JT's mixtape.
Dude, do it. You have to do it. JT's mixtape. Conspiracies.
I could be driving to the
JT.
studio in my Taurus.
yeah, the gang vocals. JT.
I won't tell you no. I won't tell you no. That's for sure.
Okay,
We'll play it. We'll
stand
play it
by.
on the show for sure. It might be his new mixtape intro, outro. If it's good.
At least for one episode.
JT. No, you gotta leave it, dude. If it's good enough, it's gotta stay because that would be hilarious.
I really am gonna do that.
I wouldn't mind.
That Taurus song, I mean, that was so epic. I was laughing the minute you played it. I was like, I don't know why. It was so funny.
Well, like I said, it's campy in the way that we were aware that this was kind of a cheesy commercial, but you won't forget that commercial.
No.
And you're like, you know what? That commercial was kind of goofy, but that car was actually not too bad. It looked pretty practical.
I'm not going to comment
I
on the
want
car.
one.
Sold me on it. Okay, switching gears. Again, this goes into the idea that so much of what we see is all theater, and the movies are used as magic to hide the fact that this is all an illusion.
Yep.
The whole Facebook movie is a giant lie. It's a propaganda piece. That was a Pentagon program called LifeLog. You've heard this, right?
No.
Okay. LifeLog is a Pentagon program that wants to basically collect all your data for your whole life. So look this up. What day did the government stop the LifeLog project? Okay, what day?
The U.S.
is it?
government specifically?
February 4th. Okay. Now,
Whoa. DARPA shut down the LifeLog project February 4th, 2004.
now do me a favor and look up what day was Facebook registered as a business.
Oh my God. No way, bro. February 4th, 2004.
The exact same day.
It was created by DARPA.
Yeah,
So what is the purpose of LifeLog?
to collect all your data for your whole entire life. They own Instagram, Facebook, they own WhatsApp.
They own WhatsApp, yeah.
How about that?
I remember talking about that on Facebook. Believe it or not, while I had still had a Facebook account, then people just weren't ready for all that. There's like, what do we do with that information? Whatever.
Well, it's interesting. So in the movie, The Social Network, what he was referencing it being BS, that the way that Mark Zuckerberg and is Eduardo Saverin were like the two guys. He was so Zuckerberg was the CEO and Eduardo Saverin was the CFO. And so the way the movie goes is that Eduardo's trying to get them advertisers right away because they want to make money off it. But Zuckerberg's always saying, no, it's cool now. We don't even know what it is. And then so later they get what's his name? The guy from Napster, Sean Parker.
Yeah.
And he was trying to say, let's not monetize it until it's bigger. But that might be the big lie here, is like what people always say, that if a product is free, you're actually the product. Like, you know what I mean? If you're given anything for free, it's used to get data from you. So eventually there was a big scandal, right? Didn't Facebook sell people's data to another country, right? Didn't they sell it to China or something like that?
It's not, yeah, and it's not just that. Like, I remember when people were using it to get leads in the different industries, like with real estate, and they could go in there and they could literally, this is how much information they had, and they ended up getting sued and changing it. People could pinpoint, like, if you wanted to find men that lived in a specific zip code between a specific date, between a specific age range, that owned horses, that were looking for horse property, and they had a budget of X amount of dollars, like, you could whittle it down so finite and advertise to just those people and get leads from just those people. It was scary. I mean, it was great for the people in the sales industry that were looking to get leads, but it was terrifying to everyone else. It's like, how are you guys getting all my data? Well, you gave it all to Facebook for free because you wanted to talk about your new horse and your new horse property and your new meal, you know, your vacation that you just went on that you spent X amount of dollars on, your new Rolls Royce that you're balling in. Like, you chose to share all of that with a free service, and now they're using that to market you to other people and to do all. And so it's like, but yeah, they've gotten in trouble for that stuff a handful of times.
Well, I just looked it up. So they don't say that they directly sold it to any kind of foreign nation, but what it had something to do with it, there was like these, I don't know, second tier companies that Facebook allowed to give like personality quizzes and things like that on it. And then they got the data from that, and then they had targeted ads. So that's what people always talk about, is that, you know, you might be talking, having a conversation in your house about, hey, I was thinking about getting a trampoline. We should get a trampoline for the kids. And then you open up Facebook and you start scrolling, and sure enough, there's an ad for a trampoline.
It's like that meme of Mark Zuckerberg sticking his head in a window going, say someone say something about a trampoline?
Right.
What you guys talking about in here?
So, I mean, obviously that's something we all know about, is that there's targeted ads to people.
The way
So, I
they
mean,
can
yeah, that's
target
obviously
the
real.
ads, the way they target the ads is fascinating, because you guys, like, one of my friends who's like was in the pickup community before I was Christian again, but he would actually not use Tinder or like whatever the dating apps were. He actually would use targeted ads on Facebook and Instagram, and he would just make like a video to make him look really famous or popular, and then would like go on like on Instagram and target women in a certain age group. So he used the targeted ads and would put it, and it would pump out like a commercial, him acting like he was some famous person, and then get like all these people to like respond to him. It's kind of
Brian's friends with a predator.
Yeah.
Check.
This is before I was a Christian, guys. Sorry. So, but
You
no,
still
yeah,
friends
dude.
with that guy?
Say what?
You still friends with him?
Nah, we haven't talked in a long time. But yeah, no, there was this like he would stop doing the Tinder because he's like, Tinder sucks. But he would just like use Facebook dating, or he would just use advertisement stuff because you could target whatever crowd you want. It's
started a podcast.
Crazy.
But that's the whole point. You give your data to anybody or a giant company or whatever the case is. You have no say in how that data is going to be used for or against you. And that's why like so many people are just like, well, I don't care. Like they can see me, they can monitor my cameras, they can listen to what I'm saying. I got nothing to hide. And it's like, yeah, you feel that way until it's being used for like the most crazy, heinous reason you could possibly think of. And that's all dependent on either some 3-letter agency or some secret organization, group of people, or just some crazy whacked out man or woman out there that decides they want to build some program to zero in on specific people for a specific purpose. That's why it's important that you don't just willy-nilly give that information up. That's honestly why I hate social media.
And it's probably too late.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, totally.
It's probably too late now. You know, that's like the what the Apple terms of service, when people always make a joke about that every time Apple or iTunes updates their format, and then you have this, you would need a lawyer to go through that for you, and nobody reads it, and they just click agree, and what's actually written into that. So if you think about that, I'm not saying it's in there, but you could imagine you wouldn't know if it was or wasn't, that if you agreed to something, and what data have you decided to consent to giving to Apple, which Apple could eventually turn it over and give it to somebody else. They got your whole phone. They got your laptop. Like, what don't they have about you if you have somebody who's an Apple user for the last 20 years?
Well, they got everything. And even X recently made a messaging app thing. And
it's Apple and Android, by the way.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah. But X, the platform X made a thing where they're now asking for your new PIN code. So X wants to get your PIN code even to like put it in to X. So that way you can get access to the messaging system in X. Have you noticed that, JT? Where they updated
I haven't
X?
messed with that yet. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I have
and they're
tried
asking
to
for a PIN code. And
go
I'm
into
like,
my DMs, and I had to like put a code in.
Put a code in. I'm like, I ain't giving it a code because it's going to use it. It wants to know what your code is so it can get access to your phone more. So I'm like, I ain't giving it a code. I ain't even going to make a code up.
It's all triangulation. That's what it is. It's all triangulation. It's trying to whittle down. That's why they ask for your contacts.
Why does it need a code for me to log in though, to just check my
Well, that's one of the things people don't understand too, though, is when you give them access to your contacts. They're not doing that so you can find your friends who also have that app.
No.
They couldn't care less. They're doing it to triangulate, to figure out who knows who, who's close to who's. It's so much deeper than anyone could even imagine. But at some point in time, you kind of got to go, you know what? I accepted way too many terms of services over the years. I gave up way too much information. They probably got it all. Holy Spirit, please help me.
Well, we
Please
do a public
protect
podcast, and
me
we've made
in Jesus' name.
We've made countless videos about who we are, so I don't think that.
Yeah.
We're
They
the
gotta know
last
us.
people to now say, "Oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to give my data away." And we've given
they gotta know who we are
everything
at
away
this point.
publicly. So yeah, I don't think that that's something. And yeah, probably if you're watching this, I'm sorry, it's also probably too late for you. I do say this, that it probably just could being a content creator. When they ever get the notification, do you want to like find friends? Of course, I'm not looking to add a bunch of people that are already in my phone, so I don't say yes to that. But again, I don't think that's really helped me. Probably.
I have the perfect segue for this.
Let's go.
And yes, AI was used to make this, I'm sure, at least it looks like it, but this talks to exactly what we're talking about.
Wait, so you're telling me in the future, people just stare at a little box all day, inside and outside?
And in the future, you don't even own the music, you just pay every month to borrow it? Like, if you stop paying, the music just disappears?
Wait, so before people eat, they take a picture of the food and show strangers? And the strangers like and comment on it? So in the future, everyone has their own phone and they use it to type messages instead of call? And if someone calls you without typing it first, it's considered rude? So you're telling me in the future, people just post their diary for everyone to see?
Some people get paid for it.
For their diary? And in the future, a little box just tells you where to go, turn by turn, and people still get lost? If you want food from a restaurant, you just tap the box and a stranger brings it to your door, and you pay extra for that, and then you rate the stranger? Our moms always say don't talk to strangers, but in the future, everyone just talks to strangers all day on the little box and shows them their house and their kids? So in the future, nobody ever just sits with the quiet? Like ever? That sounds really exhausting. In the future, everyone's connected to everything, and people are still lonely? Okay, but do we at least still stay outside until the streetlights come on?
Dang.
Got like a single solitary tear just went down my eye. It just went right down my cheek.
No, but like, dude, that hits hard, man. Especially given what we're talking about.
Dude, I there's been twice I met these random people that I felt like the Lord was putting in my life, and one guy like does some app development stuff or something, and I like try to call him up, And like I tried to call him and he didn't answer his phone, and he was like, and then I tried to call him again, and he texted me, and it was like, and there was another person that I was like going to call, and I was like thinking, wait, should I text them before I call? And I was like, I feel like I'm being rude just spontaneously calling. And it was such a weird feeling to me to like think like,
was that person me?
No, but you're definitely
That man
you're
was
definitely someone I
JT.
had to text to call. And I'm like thinking, can I just call them? And I almost felt bad just calling him. I just called the guy, but he didn't answer. And then I called him again, and he didn't answer. And another dude messaged me, some famous dude messaged me, but I'm like, I tried to call him, and I felt like I was annoying. And I'm like, bro, you messaged me. Now like I'm trying to call you back, but
No, they'll literally tell their friends, this dude's crazy. We just accepted friend requests and he tried calling me?
Dude.
And it's like, dude, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that's what you did. You needed to get a hold of someone and have a conversation. That's what you did. And I hate that I'm that way, but I'm also on the spectrum, and there's just sometimes I just don't have the energy to have a conversation because I can't have a conversation without being fully present. Like fully present. I'm absorbing everything. I'm listening to everything. I'm processing everything. And that just drains me sometimes. But yeah, I hate that it's that way. I hate that it's that way. The digital music one hit me hard because I'm just like, oh man, yeah, we're paying how much money over and over and over again. And it kind of goes hand in hand with that whole, you will own nothing. And
yeah, you'll be happy. You know what? I wish that what that video needed was somebody who said, what do you mean there's going to be no hoverboards in the future?
yeah.
Dude, biggest disappointment of growing up, never making
What
a
about the
hoverboard.
flying cars? No, they're not going to have those either. They're going to have self-driving cars, though, that are terrifying. I saw a pretty funny one on X where this self-driving car was like going across, like it looked like about an 8-lane highway, and it was trying to make a left, and it just rolled them out right into the middle of the street. That is no, I don't want any part of that. I think I'll be fine to drive myself.
Well, you guys saw what was that movie? The one that Obama funded?
Leave
or
the World
produced
Behind?
Yeah, you saw what happens with all the Teslas in that movie,
they'll
right?
pause.
I mean, at some point in time, I think we'll see a situation where, I mean,
think that's what it's
allegedly,
coming for
sure.
For
For sure. Allegedly, all cars that have chips in them can be controlled.
Well,
you know, it's funny you
they
say
just made
that.
a law about that, didn't they? They just made a law where they said that like the cars in California, at least, have to have remote control shutoffs. There was some law they just made.
You know, it's funny you guys both mentioned that. There was a video that's been kind of circulating on, going somewhat viral on TikTok and X, and it was talking about the Cash for Clunkers program. You know, from like the Obama administration.
I remember that.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
It's too long to play on here, but man, that looked like a giant scam. Especially if you really think about it now, everything's gone up in such, like, obviously housing, cars have gone up so much money. And so what they did, I guess, during the Obama administration, this part of like their stimulus thing, was they were offering people like $4,000 in a trade-in. But in order for them to, I guess, do this program, any kind of dealer that accepted the terms of this, they were forced to destroy the cars. They put something in there. What did they put? Some kind of I think they called it glassing an engine, where they dumped something inside the into the engine. So when the pistons heated it up, it turned it to like glass, and they just destroyed the engine. And so they were saying that lots of people were giving up very decent cars, like they weren't clunkers, because they just wanted to trade in their vehicle and get something new. And of course, all the new things they got were having computer interfaces in them. And that was a big problem, I guess, during like the pandemic, that a lot of car companies, you know, when everybody was spending money like there was going to be no tomorrow during the pandemic, people were going and buying all the cars off the lots. And I remember talking to a guy who owned a dealership, and he was saying, we got all these cars, but we don't have the chips for the cars. This guy owned a Ford dealership. So all the trucks, they all have computer chips, and they couldn't get the chips. And then, so if you look at it, you know, I'm sure a lot of people would look back and you're like, man, I really wish I wouldn't have sold that vehicle because we just thought it was junk and there was always going to be a bunch of used cars. But now cars from like the 90s and the 80s are like classics now. Like cars that you couldn't hardly give away back in the day. Like, just think about like a Ford Excursion. You know what I'm talking about? They don't make those anymore. Those things are really, really expensive if you want to buy one of those. And it has a lot to do with the fact that if somebody's mechanical at all and they know how to turn a wrench, you can buy parts for these cars and you can probably fix them over and over again and they'll last a long, long time.
Exactly.
And so now you can't, but like that's the difference is that now if you take your car into a dealership or a mechanic, they have to take this computer and they have to run some diagnostic check, which is going to cost you right out of the gate like $150 just to go scan what's wrong with your car. And then it's got some kind of computer problem that you could never fix. Like normal people can't fix that. And it's obviously designed to be that. But now what they're doing is that they're trying to, obviously this technology is going forward, as Brian said, where literally they're going to have some kind of a government shutoff apparatus put on your engine.
No, it's a law. They already put it in California. There's some things.
Well, yeah, but I mean, not every car has that now, but all the cars in the future are going to have that. I mean, because we've already seen examples like the people driving like some kind of Tesla and the car just shuts off like in the middle of like traffic.
Dude, I know somebody that literally he was talking on his phone and he got locked out of his Tesla. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I can't drive my Tesla for like a month. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, I was like caught talking on my phone. So the Tesla camera looked at him talking on his phone too many times and the Tesla locked him out from driving.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the self-driving. The car that he owns. I don't know if it was the self-driving feature or the full car itself. But it locked him. He said it locked him out from being able to drive his Tesla the way he was driving. I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently, it sees when you talk on your phone when you're in a Tesla, and it tells you and it gives you a warning.
Yeah, there's cameras. There's cameras all inside of it and on the outside of it. Someone told me a long time ago, and it blew my mind because I never thought about it that way. But they're like, Tesla's not a car company; it's a data company.
I've also heard that.
So I mean, think about all the data they've got on everybody and everything. I've got another video if you want to transition out of this back into a topic we discussed last week. One that went over pretty well, actually, from what I saw in the comment section.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So have you heard about the guy in Florida that says he was kidnapped by dolphins? Bananas. However, there's more info. Ricky James Hollowell of Cape Coral was found on the Sanibel Causeway at like 5:30 in the morning, drawing blueprints in the sand, disoriented, sunburned, and all that. When questioned by authorities, he said he had been kidnapped by dolphins. He was swimming around. There were dolphins around. They kind of swam around him, took him underwater. Gerald was the lead one. He had him help build this like whole city. It's Florida. Everybody thought this guy was on drugs or drunk or something. He was released from the hospital. Get this. First off, he has a degree from MIT. He worked a decade at Lockheed Martin. Interesting. He specialized in advanced composite materials and submersible vehicles designs for deep sea explorations. Maybe he knew what he was doing, but it gets friggin' crazier. A routine X-ray and fluid analysis revealed trace amounts of Gulf seawater in his lungs, specifically saline levels matching samples from 30 to 50 feet offshore with microscopic marine particles like diatoms and plankton residue. The attending pulmonologist stated in a summary, this isn't consistent with a brief drowning or aspiration from swimming. It's as if his respiratory system was exposed to seawater for an extended period, yet without the expected inflammation or damage. We're consulting marine biologists for further insight, but it's puzzling. When I first saw this, because I live right near Sanibel Island, this is right in my backyard, I was like, okay, I am on X all the time. I bet I can find somebody to help me see if anything this guy says is true or whatever. And then I read all this, and I'm like, what the is going on? Like, can we get that LiDAR stuff or whatever where you can go? Because apparently, his blueprints in the sand were detailed enough to be concerning. It appeared to be condos, a town square, and a rec center. I don't even know what to say. It's 2026. He did announce he's been tapped to head a new satellite office for an undisclosed aerospace firm in Fort Myers. So, maybe this is just like some advertising. I mean, you have all the CEOs of burger companies that are now eating their hamburgers. So maybe this is to get everybody's interest in whatever this new company is in Fort Myers. But what say you? It's 2026. Do I really believe that this guy was kidnapped by dolphins? help build a city for the dolphins underneath the Gulf? My brain says there's no effing way. But it's 2026, and a lot of things that I said no way to for most of my 60 years, I'm now like, well, it looks like that may be true. So let me know in the comments. This is just the craziest story. I don't know. Who is this guy? Ricky Hollowell? Ricky James Hollowell. He's 33. So if you know anything about this character, let me know. What are your thoughts? Happy effing Friday.
How about that?
Well, first of all, of course it was Florida.
Of course, yeah, Florida.
They
man.
never said it was Florida. Everybody knew that story was taking place in Florida.
Right.
So the interesting part is this guy had these previous jobs at Lockheed Martin and some kind of an aerospace company. And then it says he now has a job at one of those places too?
Correct. And so I don't know. I would just be interested to see. The one thing that I would be interested in above all of this is to know if there was actually like police records of them finding him on the beach drawing the blueprints and stuff. Because if they really did do those tests and they found that stuff in his lungs, that he was exposed to that stuff for like an advanced period or a long period, I don't know, man. It all sounds insane. But then you've got that picture of him all sunburnt wearing like just goggles, and it's like something happened. Like something happened at the very least. I don't know. Could be a PR stunt. Could be. We've been hearing some crazy things about dolphins lately. So
did they lock him up for communicating with dolphins? Because that's supposedly against the law.
Against his will, I guess. Right? Like who knows? Who knows what they did to coerce him?
Dude.
That's really weird. Yeah, it's really weird, too, that this guy was not some crazy person, or at least people had foreknowledge that he was a crazy person.
I mean,
he didn't get fired from his very lucrative aerospace job.
My thought would be
he got a new one.
Yeah, with dolphins. My thought would be that maybe he knew something or saw something or learned something, and they said, "Oh, time to make you crazy," and then they just like hit a button and made him lose his mind because he found out a little too much.
Well, you know what? This goes back. I was talking about that show Foundation. I think in season 2, at one point, it's getting a little weird. I don't know. Should I stick with it, Aaron? Does it get better? I mean, it's still interesting.
Listen, if talking from a screenwriting, cinematography, production level, it's a phenomenally made show.
Yeah, definitely.
So and it's not really there's not a lot that's inappropriate about it. You know what I mean? Like as far as like good sci-fi television that's like safe to watch, it definitely falls in that category. But yeah, it gets a little weird.
Yeah, it's getting weird because there's these leaps in consciousness from going to the future and going to the past. And there is a scene in that where one of the main character, Gail, she can see the future, but it has something to do with her basically drowning. And so they put her in some kind of a water, and she had to basically drown. I don't know how they kept her alive during that process, but when she drowned, she could see the future. What if dolphins don't have anything to do with what he saw? He saw this schematic in his brain, this plan for this city, because he basically had some kind of, like a near-death experience or like a full-death experience, but he somehow was revived.
Could have fainted in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Passed out in the water, been held underwater. I mean, who even knows, really?
Yeah, we haven't questioned the dolphins about this, have we?
We got to ask them.
No, they need.
We got to interview
Give
them.
those dolphins LSD and see what they know.
Just keep that scientist away from them.
Just no graping involved in this story. Okay, maybe I'll play one more video. Let's play one more video to maybe this one final palate cleansing video. I thought this was interesting because I actually like kind of some of the code stuff in the Disney movies, or maybe not necessarily Disney, but just the kids movies that got a lot of weird stuff. The connectivity between like the Disney universe and all this expanded cartoon Pixar universe.
It took me 15 years to realize that Donkey from Shrek is one of the children who was turned into a donkey on Pleasure Island in Pinocchio. Sounds crazy? Pay attention. The ending is devastating. In the first Shrek movie, Donkey is being sold. And who's right next to him? Pinocchio. Both being delivered to Farquaad at the exact same moment. Coincidence? Actually, no. Because in Pinocchio, there's a place called Pleasure Island. The kids go there, smoke cigars, drink beer, destroy everything. And you know what happens? They turn into donkeys. But here's the disturbing part. At first, they can still talk. There's a boy named Alexander who screams while he's turning into a donkey. He's still talking. And you know what the coachman does with the donkeys that can still talk? He sells them to farmers. And where did Donkey from Shrek live? With a couple of peasants? Exactly the kind of people who bought these donkeys. But it gets worse. In Shrek 3, Donkey talks about memories of being bullied at school.
Wedges and swirlies.
And Puss in Boots asks,
how did you receive the wedgies when you are clearly not aware of the underpants?
And Donkey's answer?
Let's just say some things are better left unsaid and leave it at that.
He dodges the question, because donkeys don't wear underwear. It only makes sense if he was once human. And here's where everything makes sense. Every character in Shrek has an origin story. Pinocchio, Three Little Pigs, Big Bad Wolf. They all come from known fairy tales. Donkey? Nothing. He has no origin. And Pinocchio is the only classic fairy tale with talking donkeys. The Shrek writers knew this. They studied the classics. It wasn't an accident. The most devastating part is this. Donkey has no family, no past, doesn't remember his own name, because he's been trapped in that body for so long that he forgot he was once a child.
Pretty accurate.
Dude, the more you delve into some of those cartoons and stuff, the more disturbing it gets, man.
It's real
It's so
dark when you
unsettling.
actually know what about Pleasure Island and the coachman.
Well, yeah.
Because that we didn't. You get into that, and that is some straight up Epstein stuff.
Hey, it takes stupid little boys to Pleasure Island. And you're like, that's creepy, dude.
Right.
And let's be clear, there's no way Pleasure Island started with Epstein.
No. Well, I mean, we already just showed in that thing, there was a movie from the 70s basically talking about stuff like that. The movie Magus.
Yeah.
Which is Magus magic, satanic magic. And yeah, that whole, what did it say is that the coachman says to what the foxes, saying they don't come back as boys.
Nope.
Oh man,
They
that's
never
so
come
dark.
back as boys because they
It's heartbreaking, dude.
they turn them
It's
into
like-
asses because they do something to their butt.
I was holding that back, but I was thinking, making the connection of like, what do we call a donkey?
Yeah.
We call it an ass.
Yep.
Or a burro.
Or a burro. Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, it is actually besides the talking snake in the Bible, is there another animal that talks besides a donkey?
There's a donkey. That's it.
Balaam's ass.
donkey.
Balaam's donkey talks and actually saves his life because he's about to get his chopped in half by the angel of the Lord. I don't know. I don't even know how
to end things on.
It's kind of a weird way to end this show.
Disturbing, dark twist to end things on. So yeah, throw out your Disney movies, everybody.
Well, I don't. Of course, like I said, I would be a hypocrite to say that you can't watch certain movies, but man, the layers of things they put in these movies are real deep. And of course, you don't expect to find deep stuff like that in kids' movies, but that's exactly where they put the stuff at.
Well, I think that's what I'm getting at, because like there is they drop dark, twisted, mind-bending things in everything. They don't waste an opportunity. It's in everything. If you're watching it on TV, it's in everything. But that's what we're talking about. That's the reason it's so twisted. It's because they're cartoons aimed at kids.
Well, a lot of these, again, it's funny, we've talked about this before, but the idea that where Disney got these stories from, they came from these stories that were basically tragedies. Even like comedies back in the day where they had a very dark element to it. So, you know, Disney changes things a little bit and they make it more palatable for like a family audience. But like the real story of like the Little Mermaid is that she dies at the end. And even I think we showed a video about this before about how in the story of Snow White dies. Snow White is in a coffin. I mean, it's a glass coffin, but she's dead. Right? She eats a poison apple. She didn't just go into a coma. She dies at the end. And we're showing like, because somebody was putting that together about how they walk off into like what it looks like. There is almost like New Jerusalem's in the background of this vista kind of into the sun with the prince. But if you think about it, she had poison on her lips. He kissed her. Isn't that sort of like a Romeo and Juliet situation? I mean, I guess he daggers himself, or no, she daggers herself and he poisons himself. Something like that. The point being is that these old fables, fairy tales, they always had a super dark element to them where they ended in some kind of it's not they go on some journey and everything works out. It's never like that. There's always a little bittersweetness at the end of these fables.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, the story of Pinocchio, though, that's a whole new level. Didn't they make a play with Pinocchio where I guess whatever the fairy that shows up that gives Pinocchio life is like a straight up demon, Brian? You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that, Aaron? They made like
I've
a
never even
modern
heard of that.
telling of that story. And yeah, the fairy that shows up is a straight up demon.
Never
I
heard
can
of it,
find that
but
real quick.
that makes sense.
Let me find that before we finish this out.
Was it a movie?
I think it came out on Netflix. Well, no, I think it's another Disney thing. Yeah, here's the fairy. Here's what she looks like in Disney's remake of Pinocchio in 2022.
Oh, that's creepy.
Wow.
So
More
yeah,
accurate,
was that
though.
Wait, are those eyeballs in the wing?
Yeah, it's like an angel type thing. It almost looks like she's got pipe organs up in her head.
Interesting.
Dude, what?
Right?
Fascinating.
So yeah, Disney again, of course. But on that note, guys, we're going to close it out here today. But I really appreciate you guys. Appreciate all you guys do for this podcast. And if you guys want to support this podcast, please check out the sponsor of this podcast, Modern Roots Life. Get yourself healthy and also support this show. Also, if you guys are looking to make content, we featured From Tinfoil to Truth last week. Made a great video if you guys are into that. We have a coaching program. Check the link in the description. Also, you can grab a t-shirt if you like. And if you want to see these episodes early and uncensored, please support this podcast on Patreon. I love you guys. God bless.